I think education is going to be one of the biggest uses of virtual reality. A lot of it is understanding how the mind works and how the brain perceives reality and trick your brain into believing it's in another space. It's going to have some very interesting implications for society. And it could end up being that the virtual world is a much more interesting world to live in than the real world. It could be the most important technology in the history of man.
How far have we come in just 2 years? This is amazing. Sometimes in VR, it feels like things are not moving fast enough. Like we want the future and we want it now. The past year, VR, something has happened. VR got really good, really fast. I mean, the latest Crescent Bay and the Sony Morpheus and the Vive and even mobile VR, they got so good, so fast. I think for me, it was really brought home at Oculus Connect when I was standing outside the demo rooms and watching when just, hundreds of people were trying Crescent Bay for the first time. People were coming out in tears. They were coming out, they were like, I need a hug. It was like a seriously emotional event. And it was because suddenly this thing that we all dreamed of, we suddenly realized magic is possible. And it's happening in our lifetime. In our lifetime, we will have magic powers. We'll be able to go anywhere. We'll be able to do anything. And that really just hit home for me. A lot of people are concerned that VR is this isolating technology, but what we're seeing here on the ground is that VR actually brings people together. I think most of us in this room that are in this community, we've made more friends in the past year or two than in many years before that. There's something about VR that brings people together, and that's really interesting. I think this is an early signal of how this technology will hit the mainstream.
VR is really going to take off as a consumer behavior.
I'm trying to explain it to you. I just want you to experience it. Put that on.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh, this is too real. This is too real.
I want to do this every day. I've never experienced anything like this. Do I have to give these up now? I want to do this every day. Do this every day.
First of all, those weren't actors. Those were folks having their first VR demo. An emerging ecosystem. We're not just talking about entertainment anymore. Entertainment might be the tip of the spear. About here is growing awareness. I think I read a stat a week ago that said in America about 50% of the consumers in America now feel that they're aware of VR, or at least they think they're aware of what VR is. Mobile plus video equals simple. Mobile plus video equals simple. We make phones, make a lot of phones. Everybody watches video, simple. We knew that if people bought a VR device, we wanted them not only to get excited about it, but we wanted them to come back to it. Come back to it every day, come back to it every week, come back to it every month. Get your mind blown by really great, new, compelling content.
I want to do this every day.
We want to cultivate this daily VR viewing habit, which is super, super important.
But I think that as soon as there's products on the market that let people spend money on content, that let them buy a headset, use it at home, and start, buying things, I think that is my low benchmark for consumer virtual reality kind of being here, because up till now, up till the last couple of years, that's never really been the case.
3 weeks ago in New York in a big event, what will it take for you to give these head mounts for free? These headsets, and they're saying, we just need VR to be popular, we need some killer apps, and we'll definitely, if this helps us to sign people for a 2-year contract, we'll never stop it.
I think it's, but we'll likely be on the other side of it when we see some intersection of, I think, ease of use. I mean, the thing needs to be easy to set up and use. A normal person, like not one of us, needs to be able to set it up and use it. It's got to be very high quality, and then the content's got to be there to bring you back, to give you a reason, to put these weird goggles on your face. And so I think, I don't know what the outward sign of those three things intersecting exactly will be, but I kind of think we'll know it when we see it. And then for me personally, my goal, my college roommate studied sociology and religion and lives in North Carolina, and VR is about as far from the top of his mind as anything. And so I have my own kind of personal benchmark when he's got something that we all build and uses it. That'll be another moment, but I think that's further out, and I think, as Palmer says, we're not that far from the intersection of those first three things.
VR, which is a better way to train. We've been doing training in VR for over 7 years now.
In the very long term, entertainment and education are probably going to be the two biggest things that everyone uses. Finally, there's consumers, hundreds of millions, potentially billions of consumers who want to use this in their everyday life. And
you will have hundreds of millions of VR-enabled phones in the hands of consumers within the next 2 to 3 years. That's how you're going to monetize.
My perspective,
100% male panel, and no one wanted to discuss adult entertainment.
You know, go back in history and you look any new medium and every medium in the past, you know, porn is a key driver.
Whether you feel comfortable acknowledging it or not, VR porn is being made, and it is definitely awesome. So do you think the industry is going to continue to passively allow it, or do you expect that VR leaders are going to start actively blocking adult content on VR systems?
The Rift is an open platform. We don't control what software can run on it.
And if it's good for them, they're going to make money. Of course, they're going to come into it. But let's not talk about it too much. It's enough.
kind of limited on the camera side by like the laws of physics, where if you actually wanted to design a camera that could look with 2 eyes in every direction, you just kind of run out of like atoms in space. Until we have that device, the kind of memory capture device, as this time where, oh my God, it's like we lost out on, you know, capturing a birthday party or that special event. No, unfortunately, in part because of the laws of physics, we're a few years away, at least for the truly consumer grade integrated product.
So ready to lament.
You're ready to what?
Lament.
Oh, no, I know. I am really ready to lament.
What's your answer to critics who say that VR's effects on human physiology is not well studied enough to be put out to the mass market?
I would say they don't know what they're talking about. We don't know what the hell these people from Cupertino doing. But for now, Android, you know, between Google, Samsung, every other mobile OEM is in a race now